Well, hello, my friends. This is the Crypto Lunatic, and today I'm going to tell you how to make money on Revolut. Not financial advice, it's a complete gamble, all of this kind of stuff, the caveat. So the reason I'm giving a shout out to Revolut isn't because they've paid me or I bought into their platform. This is simply a beginner's guide to crypto. A beginner's guide, folks. So if you know anything about crypto, this probably isn't going to be as overly relevant to you. And the reason that I'm having this conversation is because about 6 months ago, a few of my trusted friends who were asking me about crypto and asking me all sorts of questions. And in the end, I thought, I can't be bothered to explain this to you. There's no point. People aren't going to believe it till they see that they're going to get something back. So I said, how much money have you got to gamble? How much would you put into the lottery over the next year? And it was amounts between £20 and £50. I said, credit into your Revolut account. And I put it in little tiny crypto coins. And here we are 6 months later. Some of them it's 2 years later. And suddenly they've checked their Revolut crypto accounts and they've found that they've made six, seven, eight, even sometimes 10, 15 times their money, depending on their risk profile, folks. Now, this is purely for people who can't be bothered to set up or find out about crypto because there's a lot of nuance within crypto. There's a lot of scams. There's a lot of ways you can lose your money. There's a lot of risk, folks. There's a lot of risk. This is gambling for all intents and purposes. And the only reason I'm giving Revolut a shout out, and it's not because I recommend their platform, it's a great starting place for people that know nothing about crypto. And that's how how the friends that I have given these mad tips have started. And so maybe it's something for you. And today I'm going to give you 15 cryptos with various risk profiles that you could start you off if you want to go on this little soiree of learning how crypto works, what it is, and how maybe you can gamble on it. So I would call it investing, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to call it gambling because our regulators don't like us calling investment, even though it possibly is. But anyway, caveat, not financial advice. This is just me, folks, and I don't put that much in. I put tiny amounts in Revolut. Now, let's start with the pros and cons of Revolut. There's a couple of cons. The first thing is that you can't transfer crypto out of it. There's a few that you can, but mainly you can't, folks. The ones I'll be giving you today, most of them will be stuck in Revolut, and the only way to get it out will be to sell it. But the other bad thing is that you're going to have to pay a transaction fee, which you're probably going to have to do wherever you buy crypto. And for tiny amounts, Revolut would charge you about £1.50 a transaction. So if you're only putting 10 or £20 in, that adds up, folks. So bear that in mind as well. So I'm going to give you a little portfolio today. I'm going to give you 15 cryptos. Now, depending what your risk profile is, will be what you want to get in at or what you want to put in. And I'm going to tell you to take whatever you would risk in gambling, the lottery, any sort of flutters. Take all of the money that you spend over the next year, put it in your Revolut account, and divide it over some of the cryptos I'm going to give you today. And what I'll do is keep a portfolio. I'm going to give you 15. Let's assume that you're going to put, I'll say, £10 in each one. I wouldn't recommend that, folks, because as I say, Revolut are going to take about almost 20%, 15% of that if you're going to do it that way. So it's best to put a little bit more, but I'm not here to advise you on what to put in or how to put in. I'm just here to tell you why I think starting with Revolut's probably a good move. The first thing is there's a lot of cryptos that are pure scams, and Revolut, because it's got about 60 to 70 million users globally, it's not in their interests to list scams, so they have to do a certain amount of due diligence to put them on their platform. So for those of you that aren't investors that can't be bothered to dig into it, they've done a little bit of due diligence for you. So that's one way to stop getting rugged. Rugged, what does that mean? You put your money in, you can't get it out. There's lots of ways you can lose money in crypto, folks. Lots of ways, lots of scams, lots of things, lots of ways it can go wrong. So we're going to go through 15 coins today, and I'm going to take it from today. We're going to track them and we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do, folks. But Revolut's a good place. If you've got a Revolut account, then you don't have to worry about setting stuff up. So that's why we're starting here. And that's what I'm taking you through today, folks. I'm not necessarily a fan of Revolut. I've only got a small fraction of my crypto in Revolut. And they're definitely not paying me, and I'm not receiving any money. So that is where you can get a little bit of reassurance that I'm not just plugging it for the sake of it because somebody's handed me a load of money. This is very simply a starter's guide. It's a starter's guide, folks. So I shall start to share my screen and I shall take you through a little journey of Revolut. So, folks, let's get rid of this. Let's take you on here. Now, what I've done in CoinMarketCap, I have gone through Revolut and I've listed all of the cryptocurrencies on there. Now, the safest ones are Bitcoin. Well, safest one by far is Bitcoin. If you're going to invest in crypto, you want a very low risk. You start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the gold standard of all crypto. Because we're only talking about tiny amounts, folks, I'm going to leave off all of these top 5 cryptos. I'm leaving off simply because there's such high market caps. Your potential to make money is significantly lower. We're going to start the first one I'm going to get you to look at is Solana. Now, Solana is the fastest moving horse so far of all of the major cryptos. Solana's the fastest moving horse. It is also the fastest and cheapest one with the most users at the moment. It may not be the absolute fastest or the absolute cheapest, but it's very fast, very cheap. And currently, over about 70% of all transactions are going through Solana. It looks like a solid favorite to be there, long lasting of time. It could be the VHS to everyone else's Betamax. So Solana there at 185, folks. So that is our first choice, and that is the lowest risk of them. And of course, they're all risky. But of all the ones I'm going to list today, the further down the list we go, the more risk it takes, but the more potential you have to make big gains. Because for anyone new to this game, the higher the market cap, the lower the potential of explosive gains through big money going in. So we start with Solana. That's our first one. Solana is a blockchain. It's where the transactions go through. Now, it's not to say that all of these aren't good projects, folks. I'm just taking 15 out of a selection here. Now, the next one I'm going to bring you towards is Pepe. Now, why Pepe? Well, meme coins are all of the rage. They have been showing explosive gains in this bull market, folks. Now, there's no fundamentals to meme coins. From an investment perspective, this is as high risk as it gets. But with all of the people, the retail, they love meme coins, and meme coins have been shown to be very strong. Well, some of them have. There's a lot of rug pulls, some are strong, but Pepe has stood the test of time. And it's low enough cap to have the potential to go up quite a lot, but it's high enough that it's shown the test of time that this is not a rug pull and it's on Revolut. So Pepe is our next one going in at 4018, folks. So you can get in at Pepe at that. The next one is Near Protocol, which is an AI blockchain. Near is a very solid project, and it's definitely worth a look at 521 there. So that is our third. We're going to move down a little bit now because we're going to go a little bit lower. The next one I'm going to show you is Algorand. Algorand, again, is a layer 1 blockchain. Now, Algorand isn't particularly well populated. There aren't a lot of people using it, but it is one of a group of cryptos which are probably going to be used for central bank digital currencies, which is a completely different video for another day. All you need to know for all intents and purposes for this is that Algorand has great potential to go up. And it is certainly going to be number 4 on my list, folks. 4 on my list, Algorand, a layer 1 blockchain. So it's also, if you want to look it up, if you look up ISO 20020, you'll see a set of globally agreed benchmarks, and there's 7 cryptocurrencies, which are the approved users of that, and Algorand is one of them. So we're going to drop down a little bit now. Drop down and down. Now, here we get to number 5 on my list. This is one of my personal favorites. This is Jasmy. I discovered this when it was significantly lower, when it was about zero point 0.4 of a cent. So almost 10x lower than it is at the moment. But I do believe there's still a lot to run on Jasmy. Now, the reason I'm interested in Jasmy is at one stage, this thing was up to nearly $5. And if it gets anywhere close to that, you can see the level of gains that you might get. I don't think it's going to hit $5 or anywhere close in this bull run. But what I can tell you is that the entire team from Sony have taken it over since it went down. So it's got solid fundamentals. It's regulated in Japan. This is a very solid project. And not only that, but the tokenomics of Jasmy are phenomenal. So Jasmy has made it to 5 on the list at 0.35, folks. I shall list all of these in the comments so that you've got the reference. You can see how these perform for yourself from this point. We're now going to move further down, quite a lot further down, folks, because now we're going to get into the slightly more degen side of things, the higher risk, higher reward type. And what I've done is I've decided to target the coins, my friends, that have been underperforming so far, but have great potential. And we go to this project, Coti, which is something I've been following for years now. Now, I believe that this is a really solid project. I've been looking into it. I've done a bit of research into it. I think it's sitting fairly solid. And this is a sort of mid-range one. And it hasn't really exploded yet, folks. It hasn't really exploded yet. I think Coti has great potential. And at 0.12, I think it's a great entry point for Coti. So that was my next one. Coti. We're now going to move down to, we're going to get to crypto gaming. Now, there's going to be a few crypto gaming coins here, folks, because I think crypto gaming is going to be huge. And the important part of this is that crypto gaming hasn't pumped yet. It hasn't had its day. Every sector usually has its day in crypto. This is the one sector that really hasn't done very much yet, but it will. It absolutely will, folks. And Illuvium has been up to around about the £1,000 mark. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's go and have a little look. Let's have a little look, folks. I think you'll find with the test of time of Illuvium, it's been so much significantly higher. Now, this game has been building and building and building and building for ages. For ages. There you go. This has been up to almost £2,000, folks, in the last bull cycle. And all of this is bear market and building, bear market and building, bear market and building. I think Illuvium is a really exciting option for something that might pump. And at $40 entry, I'm definitely giving you that as one of my entry points. And directly under that is Alchemy Pay. It's a pay solution. It's a low cap one. I've had my eye on it. It's a relatively new addition to the Revolut ecosystem as well, and has been kept suppressed. And at that entry point, I'm definitely recommending this one amongst them as well, folks. I'm going to move down further now. Now, this is a really solid project. If you're going to go for one middle cap project and you've just got one entry point, folks, make it here. Orca. Orca, for the market cap versus the solidness of this project, I think that this has real grounds. And from an investment point of view, this has the most solid fundamentals for a project of its size. This is a decentralized exchange. It's a place where you can exchange crypto on Solana, which is the biggest, best performing blockchain so far. And the volume that Orca has seen for such a relatively small project is really impressive. The fundamentals on this are good, folks, and this is very highly recommended by me. And at that entry point, $3.74, I think we're going to see some significant gains with Orca, my friends. So that is a very highly recommended project. Now we're going to slip down a bit further. Now here's one that I've had my eye on for a while. So I do a little bit of consulting in business, and I've worked a lot with alternative energies, with green energies, and this project came into my radar, Power Ledger. Now, Power Ledger is an aggregator of energy supplies. It's doing some incredible things in the green energy space, and it allows people that create their own energy through solar and things like that to store energy and to sell it locally within local networks. And I believe that this project, even though it's very low cap, is in about 17 different countries. It's doing some incredible things. And if you're into green energy, Power Ledger's well worth looking up, folks. Very solid project, very solid entry point there at 0.25. So that one is the next one on my list. Now, all of these ones I'm going through, guys, it doesn't mean that these aren't good projects. I'm just giving you 15 that I've looked into. So bear that in mind. I'm not saying that there's anything bad about the other ones. Um, I'm just saying that if you're going to take 15, here they are. Here's the next one, more crypto gaming, Mines of Delania. Again, we're at such a low cap now, folks. We're at the sub 100 million. Now, at the sub 100 million, what that means is that if one big investor comes in, this could absolutely soar. If people get interested in any of these projects at this level, they have great potential to go nuts, to go absolutely nuts, which is why Mines of Delania at 0.155 is a fantastic entry point, I believe, on a crypto gaming project that's well worth a look. So we're going to go further down. Now, here we are, Clover. Now, this is a little project, and this stood out to me because this was so slow to perform. And this is a project in the financial markets, and it was so low cap when it was so underperforming for so long. And then it sort of exploded and then pulled back. So I've seen this explode. I've seen the potential that this has. I've seen this as a live project, and it's very low cap, and it represents a very good entry point at 0.69. I think this is a great entry point for Clover, and we're right at the low cap degen part of the portfolio now, folks. So Clover, I think, is a really solid project on Revolut for a low cap one. And we'll go further down. Now, Gods Unchained, another crypto gaming project, folks. Now, this last year, when I checked it, was one of the most played games on Web3 in crypto. And I even had a download and had a little play with it. It's a card game. It's pretty good, folks. And there's a lot of people trading and using this one, and it has not exploded yet, but I think it will have its day in the sun. I feel great potential for Gods Unchained. And at this entry point at 0.208, I think that is a fantastic entry point for Gods Unchained, folks. So we're going to go further down, further. We're going right down into the depths, folks. Now, here's one. Here's a fairly new one to enter the mix. And this is Assemble AI, folks. Assemble AI. Now, this is relatively new on the platform, and I've kept an eye on this. This is an AI news feature that finds articles and lists them. And there's some fairly big players using this as well now. I believe Coinbase has just, and Binance have been looking into this. But the bottom line is for a low cap AI, AI is a big buzzword in crypto at the moment. I think this project at 0.31 is a fantastic entry point and represents a great opportunity because this is a relatively new project that's gone onto Revolut, folks. So we're going to go further down now to here, League of Kingdoms Arena, which is the final project of the 15 that I've listed. Again, another crypto gaming play, very low cap, great potential. And all of these crypto gaming things, this is the important thing, folks. And I'm going to stop sharing now because we've listed these projects. I'll list them in the description, and you can follow them. You can see if these actually perform or not. But for people that are early stage that are getting into crypto, these are 15 really good projects, I think. So you know the caveats, you know what I've said about this, folks. We can follow this portfolio and we can see how it does. And unlike a lot of other influencers, I've put all of this on one video, which I will keep up and you can keep me to account. So rather than cherry picking all of the projects that I talked about, you've got 15 in one. What I'm going to do is add £100 for each of these cryptos. So this would be my £1,500 investment portfolio or gambling portfolio, as I have to tell you. And we will follow it. We will follow it through this cycle, folks, to see if you enter now and you've only got Revolut and you want to get into crypto. Let's see how well this could perform. So there you go. This is the Crypto Lunatic giving you my little tips, my easy start for Revolut, and a huge free shout out to Revolut, who are not sponsoring this channel and they're not sponsoring this video at all. And I'm not even recommending Revolut. It's just a great place to start, folks, which is why videos like this, where you know that they're not being sponsored, there's no vested interest in it for me. I just like to help my friends who know nothing about crypto to start easily if they're interested in getting in and having a little dabble, folks. So there you go, from the Crypto Lunatic, giving you my little mid-cycle portfolio to start from scratch from now. Let's see how it performs and let time be the validator of whether this was any good or not. Thank you, my friends. And if you want more of my little random tips on musings, then please do subscribe to the channel, where you'll get all of those for free. And because it's so small, there's two things about this channel. It won't be pumped because of my recommendations, because not enough people follow it. And there's no adverts on it because it's not big enough to warrant them yet. So there's another little video just there, folks. I thank you for your following this video, watching it to the end. Please do leave your comments. Please do subscribe, and I will see you for the next video.